Have you ever found yourself asking, why me? Why did this have to happen to me? I know I have, and it's one of those questions that feels like it echoes endlessly when grief crashes into your life. It's a cry for understanding in a world that feels impossibly unfair. What if there isn't an answer? Or what if we need to shift the way we're even asking the question? Let's unpack this together, mom to mom, grief to grief, because if you've clicked on this video, I know your heart has been broken too. And the question of why me? In those raw, aching moments of loss, the words why me come so easily. Why was I chosen for this heartbreak? Why my child? Why my family? If you're sitting with this question right now, let me tell you this. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's a question that comes from a place of deep pain, a plea for answers in a world that suddenly doesn't make sense anymore. But the thing is, when we look closer, we start to realize there isn't an easy answer. And that's where the real struggle begins. Because we can't get answers. How do we move forward from this? What if the real question is, why not me? This is the part that stings a little, but it's worth sitting with. Life doesn't work on a fairness system. Some good, kind people leave this world too gosh darn soon, while others live long, messy, sometimes undeservedly easy lives. And the truth is, there's no logic to it. There's no balance sheet in the sky making sure things even out. It just is. So maybe the question isn't why me, but why not me? That's a hard shift to make. Trust me, I've been there. But when I reframed that question, something changed. And I realized this wasn't about punishment or some cosmic targeting of my family. It was about living in a world where heartbreak happens. And yeah, sometimes it's our turn to carry it. It doesn't make it easier, but it does make it less isolating. Here's a hard truth I've had to wrestle with. Some questions will never be answered. And no matter how much I scream at the frickin' sky or cry into a pillow, I'll never know why my child's life was so brief. But what I can do is stop fighting that lack of an answer. I can accept that there is mystery I'll never solve. And acceptance, it's not about giving up. It's about choosing to live despite the questions. It's about saying, I may never know why this happened, but I'm still here. And I'm going to make the most of the days I have left. Finding healing through connection. One of the most healing things I've ever done is talk to other moms who get it. You know what I mean? There's something so powerful about sitting across from someone who knows the weight of your pain without you having to explain it, right? When we share our stories, something happens and the load gets a little lighter. We see our pain reflected in someone else's eyes, and when we remember that we're not walking this road alone, there's something deeply sacred about that. So if you're feeling lost in your grief and you find someone who understands, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a support group, or maybe even an online community, like on Instagram or something. If you're watching this, let me tell you, this space right here, it's a place where you're seen, where you're heard, and you're not alone. But let me also offer this caution, friend. The question, why me, can become a trap if we're not careful. It's so easy to spiral into anger, bitterness, and despair, and when we're fixated on finding an answer that doesn't exist. And that's a dark place to live. I've been there, and it's not a place I want to go back to. Instead, I want to challenge you to redirect that energy. What if we focused on honoring the ones we lost? What if we poured that heartbreak into something meaningful? Maybe it's sharing their story, like I do. Maybe it's helping someone else in their grief, or simply choosing to live well in their memory. At the end of the day, we may never have all the answers we're looking for. But what we do have is the ability to keep going, to find joy even when it feels impossible, and to live lives that honor the ones we've lost. So if you're asking why me, I want you to know that it's okay. It's okay to wrestle with this question. It's okay to cry and to feel the weight of it all. But I also want you to know that you're not alone in that struggle. You're not alone in your grief. And even when the answers don't come, you can find peace, healing, and even joy again. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this video spoke to you, if you feel seen or comforted, I'd love for you to share your story in the comments below. And let's keep this conversation going, because in sharing, we find connection. And in connection, we find hope, which is what we all want. So take care, friend. And remember, you're not alone.